Welcome back. Got a cup of coffee? And we will start on the second part of how to make sour bread dough. Last time I showed you how to make your starter. Today, from where your starter began, it's grown. That one little cup to almost a half a bowl, as you can tell now. Put your bowl down. You're going to want to get your jar back and refill it because you want to keep your sourdough starter going. So take your jar, take your bowl, pour about halfway, usually about a cup. You're going to have to kind of eyeball it, maybe a little bit more, about halfway back into your jar. Then, put your jar back in your fridge. You want to keep your sourdough starter going. That way you can come up with all kinds of stuff. Now, the next step is to pour your starter into a bigger bowl. A big glass bowl works great. Earthenware. Just dump the whole starter into your bowl. That's left over that you have already, that you didn't reserve. Get every drop out. Because the more you get out, the more bread you can make with it. Now, your next step is to add your ingredients. Easy ingredients. Pretty much everybody has these ingredients in your home. Oil, salt, sugar, flour, and an egg. I like to do my liquid first. You already have the liquid in your bowl. This is what it looks like. Fact of the matter, we might just put it down here so you guys can watch the whole process. Okay, here's your bowl. Everything's in there. Crack one egg. That's all you need. Now the next thing you're going to need one egg, a half a cup of oil, and 1.5 cups of water. It doesn't have to be warm or cold, just 1.5 cups. That is all of your liquid ingredients. Mix that up really well. And I think my spoon went crazy. Here it is. Take your egg, your oil, your water. Because water and oil don't always mix well, you might have a little bit of trouble getting it to mix. That's fine. You'll have your dry ingredients in there in a minute. Just want to get it kind of, and your egg kind of mushed up and broken. Stir all of that in. Now you want a half a cup of sugar. I'm going to be using 1/4 of a cup, so I need 2 4/4 cups in this. thereabouts, a half cup, a teaspoon of salt. I'm sorry, a tablespoon of salt, not a teaspoon. Tablespoon of salt. Then comes your flour. Now, your flour. You're going to want several cups of flour. So, I buy my flour at Sam's or at a retail store. I mean, at a big warehouse. My preference is Sam's. I get 2 big containers of this of 25 pounds of flour. These are filing cabinet containers. They work great for holding the 25 pounds, usually 2 of them. And they last my family about 2 to 3 months. Little less, little more, depending on how much cooking we've been doing. You're going to need a variation of cups of flour. 4 to 5, 5 to 6, depending on how you want your dough. My best guesstimate is just grab your cup of flour, throw it in, and start mixing. It's about the best thing you can do. And as you mix, just kind of let the dough get involved and evolve together and stick. Your dough will be sticky, but you want to keep stirring all of your sides, get all your lumps out. Make sure your salt and egg and sugar are mixed in rather well, which you will be using to make dough later on. Mix it in. Good, nice mixture. And we're going to go back in a little bit about how to continue to keep your starter growing. I put mine back in the fridge for the time being, but you can always add to your starter in a minute after you get your dough started. So don't worry about the timing of doing it right away. It doesn't have to be the moment you start your dough. It just has to be in the process. My dough is getting lumpier, which is good, but it's still pretty liquidy. It's still pretty, it's not cohesive where I could roll it out yet. You can keep the dough, keep stirring your dough. Add more flour if you need to. At this point, I think I have about 3 cups in total. Maybe a little less, maybe a little bit more. I'm always eyeballing for people who are starting. You may want to actually use a 1 cup measuring cup to get an idea. And you can definitely see that this is getting more of a dough-like mixture now that I've added that last cup in. And yes, this is arm work. You'll have nice big arm muscles by the time you're done making tons of sourdough bread. You can show your boys or your girls that you've got guns, and they like that. It's also fun to get your kids to work. I've got some parchment paper down because I will turn this dough out onto the floured surface and work with it on the surface here in a minute. But I want to make sure, I don't know if you guys can see it, the top of my dough is really nice and firm. The bottom isn't yet. It's still pretty doughy, liquidy on the bottom. Keep mixing it in. If you have a bread bowl, bread machine on your mixer, the thing that probably will do this for you, the kneading the dough. But I'm old-fashioned, and I like doing it by hand. I might add 1 more small cup in just to get that dough on the bottom a little bit more mixed in. Plus it'll keep my bowl floured. The reason I like glass bowls over some plastic bowls, or Tupperware, or sorry, I had a slip in the problem with the computer. Computers are like people. They have minds of their own, whether you want to believe it or not. So, move that back a little bit. Hopefully have some more room. Plus, I'm going to be able to show you how to roll out your dough here in a minute. Now, there are days that I like to let my dough, after made, rising another hour, or another day, depending on what I want to do. Flour your surface really well. That's going to be your next big thing that you need to do. Make sure you have a good floured surface, because you're going to turn this dough out onto the floured surface. Your dough, see, there's still a little bit of that wet stuff. Even the bottom of the bowl has some of it. Scrape your bowl, put it in, nice. Get that bowl emptied. Okay, even your spoon may want to clean off. Set your bowl aside. Now, for some people, they don't like getting their hands dirty. If you're making bread, you're going to have to get your hands all floury, or you'll be making a mess of stickiness. Get your hands floured. Roll your dough in. So you got a nice floured surface. Mix that dough. Fold over. Keep folding. Doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, if you have too much flour on your board, just kind of spread it out. You're fine. Not a big deal. In fact, I think I am going to let this more than likely do another rising, because I'm making blackberry rolls, I think, with this one. So, I may not. We've got pretty good dough. Take about half of the dough, cut it in half, put the smaller half that is equal parts. That's why you want your bowl that you mixed your dough in floured. Take it, put it back in the bowl. Stay in that floured bowl, it'll be fine. Now, take the other part of the dough that you haven't worked with yet. You're going to keep kneading it for a little bit. There's all kinds of proper ways to knead dough. I don't follow any of them. I'm not a trained chef. I've learned a lot from chefs I've worked with. But if you're a mom at home cooking for your family or for friends, just basically you're going to take your dough, flatten it out, fold it over, pat it back in, turn it, do the same thing, turn, do the same thing. Very easy. You're going to have nice little dough, kind of in a square. Nothing big, nothing hard. Now, you want to flour a rolling pin. Get it nice, floured, all good. Spread it out. Make it thin and long. Yeah, all of that work that you just got into that bowl, nice little rounded thing, we're going to roll out. Make sure your sides are as even as possible. Because when you start putting food in, or if you're putting, however you're making it. Now, for a quick treat on this, after you roll it out like this, you can take it just like it is now, throw pizza sauce on top of it, cheese, your favorite pizza toppings, and throw it right in the oven. You have homemade pizza dough. That's just one of these simple, quick meals you can make with sourdough bread from home. Okay, I've got a nice flat surface. It's not perfect. I'm okay with that. for what we're going to do. Now, for what I want to do, we're going to make blackberry almond rolls. They're easy to make. Don't get alarmed. I'm going to wash my hands off so I can work with the blackberries and the almonds for a little bit. Easy to do.